So I was sent this post from the Am I Overreacting subreddit. She says, am I overreacting for telling off my husband for posting weird posts on Instagram stories? Okay, I don't know. Let's check out the post. Before I get to the screenshots of his stories, let's look at her caption. So she's 25. She says, I got married 6 months ago and it was an arranged marriage. After marriage, I could tell we were highly incompatible among various other things. One thing that concerned me is that he's not quite over his ex. He would say some things that would indicate to me that he's still emotionally and mentally wrapped up in his previous relationship. He didn't marry her because his parents would never agree to the alliance. I was just a convenience, I guess. Once in a conversation, he said, I love you R, a name that's not mine, but his ex's. I'm just giving you all a summary in a broader sense. There are a lot of other things he's done that makes me sure that he's not over her. So he posted these 2 stories and I could just feel in my guts that the first one wasn't about me. And when I clicked into the second one, I got hella confused as to what even the point of that story. Then there was another one in our mother tongue that basically said how one went to their lover's neighborhood and he was washed by their fragrance. This is the best I could do with the translation, so forgive me. Now the text message is my response to his stories. I asked him to hide my brothers from his stories because I don't want them to worry about me, and in all fairness, I'm so embarrassed by his online behavior all the time. He's 32, but doesn't know how to behave online. I'm a private person. I don't ever post private stuff like that. I never post my feelings on Instagram. He hasn't replied yet as I'm in my hometown due to some work and he's in another city. Did I overreact? And what could he possibly be ranting about in his stories? Oh, and he is also somewhere, It says, oh, and he also somewhere regrets marrying me. I'm sure she means somewhat regrets marrying me. So here's his first story that she shared. Do you ever get waves of missing someone? Like you stay okay the whole day, but then suddenly your heart hurts. I don't exactly know what this is supposed to say, but it says, to the first pic you took in CLG. I don't know. Is that Calgary? In 2012 with your BlackBerry, and our friendship started discussing politics. I never knew life will be so brutal sometimes. Some conviction go totally wrong. I have no idea what that is supposed to be saying. The reason why I said this is Calgary these people are Indian. She says it in the comments. Don't they have a big Indian population in Canada? I don't know what CLG means, but that's the second post. And here's her text to her husband. Could you hide your Instagram stories from my brothers, please? You post some very personal, cryptic stuff, and it reflects poorly on me as well, and I'm a private person. I don't want people to speculate through your stories. I won't tell you not to post them as it's your social media, but I'd implore you to hide my brothers from your story. Thank you for understanding. The thank you for understanding part almost made me choke on my cucumber mint lemonade. But that sounds very underreacting. It does not sound like she's reacting appropriately, in my opinion. But also, like she said, he's posting cryptic stuff. It's not like he's coming right out and saying things, but I do believe that she needs to have a conversation, a full-on conversation to where she is confronting him about this behavior, not just necessarily sending a text message. This requires a face-to-face and not the HR voice that she's giving. And she did say that she's using her HR voice here. She's all in and through the comments. So Spacey Kitty says, I'm sorry you're married to someone that's being publicly disrespectful and isn't in love with you. I think you deserve better than this. Aside from that, you're not overreacting. It's clear even to us strangers that these are coded messages about an ex. And I too would be embarrassed that my husband is letting the world know he's not over his ex. And also embarrassed for him acting like a child. In a way, it's good if your brothers see, because if this guy starts to mistreat you further, then at least you can go to them for help and they'll have seen the proof. I know you didn't ask, but is there any way you can get out of this marriage? She says, I think you're right about my brother seeing his strange posts. Well, in cultures where arranged marriages are the norm, societal pressure and scrutiny play a big role. You can't step out of line. The typical, You will bring shame to the family if you did this. For me personally, I do think that if this kind of behavior continues, I won't be happy with him. It's also preventing me from accepting him. From our honeymoon itself, it was clear that he is stuck in his past. That knowledge isn't letting me open up emotionally, although I have tried. It's the feminine version of spidey senses. I can't fight my intuition for long. By the way, thank you for your response. And British Boy RZ says, what culture, if I may ask? And she says, I'm Indian. RM Reed says, an Indian 32-year-old crying to his daddy is crazy. Brown people need to stop indulging on spoiled brats. Why even marry him to you if they love him so much? I'm brown too. My mom would beat my brother's butt if he ever did this to his wife. My brother wouldn't do that either because that's not how we were raised. I mostly raised him, but seeing how the women in our culture get treated, he is really disappointed in the male species. Living in a Western culture doesn't help either. I grew up totally different than him. At the bottom, this person just says, called it. Terrible second honed in on this part. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and just said vibes. And the OP says, I was just pissed off. It's better to use your HR voice than to be hurtful. I'm not feeling pissed offness. I'm not feeling it at all from what I read. It's not pissed off enough. She could have been a little bit stronger. RM Reed says, no, you're not overreacting. How does he usually talk to you? Does he respect you? Is there mutual respect in this relationship? Do you want to stay in this loveless relationship? I'm just really worried about you. I know it's your life. At the end of the day, do what you want. This kind of stuff can lead to violence later on. That's why I'm asking. Here's the OP saying, he talks to me nicely and respects me as long as I'm passive. As soon as I assert myself on something or we get into an argument, he calls his dad and rants to him in front of me like a child, like a little boy complaining to his daddy about the mean kid at the park. It again breaks the bond. If you're going to run to your dad each time we fight, it's going to be, as Princess Diana says, 3 of us in this marriage. And yes, I do think it can get violent, as I've seen him lash out and telling me to get out of his house. Thank you for responding. You're very sweet. And so that goes with the other comment from earlier. I didn't realize that I took the screenshots out of order. But yes, this definitely sounds dangerous. She has to walk on eggshells to not get out of line, because right now she hasn't seen a physical side yet, but it could go there. RM Reed says, yeah, I talk to my family and get out of this marriage. It's better to end things sooner than wait till something worse happens. Your family will be affected by this too. They would feel hurt to see you hurt. You're doing what you can, so don't blame yourself for this. He's a spoiled brat. That's why he's going to his daddy for things. I strongly dislike a man behaving this way. You could do so much better. Stay safe. And then Sherbert and Lemon at the bottom says, he is not nice and doesn't respect you. I'm sorry to write this so clearly. You are in a terrible situation, and I feel so sorry for you. He wants you to be quiet and submissive. If he would respect you, there would be no need for you to be passive. Be careful what you say or do. He doesn't sound, he doesn't just sound immature, but like an a-hole. Absolutely. As long as she's quiet and just puts up with anything he does, he'll be okay. Soon as she acts like a human or has some emotion or an opinion, he's going to get upset. So I would definitely tread lightly with this one. But y'all, the whole cultural aspect of a divorce leading to shame is so terrible. It keeps people locked in a prison that is marriage. Chime in. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I was tagged in this post in the 2X chromosome subreddit. She says, why don't I literally see men discussing the loneliness epidemic unless it's used as a counter argument to shut down women? She says, for what it's worth, I completely believe in the loneliness epidemic, and I do believe that men have their own set of struggles when it comes to loneliness. This is for plenty of different reasons that I won't get into, but I do just want to acknowledge that as a woman, I often find myself very grateful to be able to openly express myself, my emotions, and my love towards my friends in a way that I know a lot of men don't feel they can do. However, I literally never hear men discuss the male loneliness epidemic unless it's already being discussed as a general topic, and they feel the need to join in and point out how it exclusively or especially involves them. Obviously, one has the right to have whatever opinion they want, so if that's truly what they believe, then great. But if that's the case, then why not truly do something about it? If you truly believe this is an exclusively male problem that needs to be addressed, why not go a little out of your comfort zone and address it? I almost never see men starting things like book clubs or hosting events or small gatherings unless there's a woman involved. I think a lot of men who are struggling can find it hard to hear the privileges they have as men. And so the loneliness epidemic is like one thing they can truly point to and say, see, men have it just as bad too. But they don't seem to go beyond acknowledging the problem. They don't offer any solutions or ideas. They don't really talk about their own personal experiences or open up conversations for others to join in and relate to. Frankly, the only times I hear the male loneliness epidemic being genuinely discussed is when it's being discussed by women. But to be fair, I don't join any exclusively male subreddits, so maybe there's conversation being had. I don't really hear many conversations about that in real life either, which is maybe indicative of the problem itself, that men don't feel comfortable engaging in that kind of vulnerability unless it's online. But it's just something I've noticed a lot on Reddit and on social media. I'm not denying that the loneliness epidemic exists, but when there's talk and zero solutions, it starts to feel like another thing women are supposed to figure out and handle. Like women are supposed to fix this and provide company and emotional support and free therapy, all the things that you can get from genuine friendships if you took the time to go out and make them. I want to believe that the loneliness epidemic is about more than men being upset that they aren't getting laid by women that apparently owe their bodies to them. But the lack of discussion makes me hesitate sometimes. I do believe that she summed up what it is in those very last sentences, that it is about them not getting laid. They want women, and that's it. They want women to be their emotional support. They want women to be their entertainment. They want women to be their caretakers and their wife appliance or their girlfriend appliance. And as women pull back and demand that we get treated like humans and be supported both ways, they're like, ho, I can't go beyond, treating you like a human. They don't want to do that. And so women, it's this cycle. So women keep pulling back because the men won't treat women like a human. This is where I was tagged in from Terrible Custard. She says the male loneliness epidemic is a misnomer. It's actually the male sexlessness epidemic. It's just one long dog whistle, which is why no concrete solutions are offered. They'd sound appalling. Although there was an article a few years ago which called for the distribution of women to incels in the New York Times. I think I kind of remember that. I'm gonna have to go look for that. The closest we now get is the ubiquitous Scott Galloway saying that men and women need to loosen up by drinking more alcohol together. And I do believe as more and more people stop drinking, more women stop drinking, I think that is also aiding the male loneliness epidemic, because women aren't just going along to get along. I have made posts where it was talking about if you say that you don't drink or you don't want to drink on a date, it makes the men uncomfortable because they know that they're probably not that likable if a woman doesn't have that alcohol to loosen her up. I Drown for Mermaids says there was a group on Meet Me in my city that was a men's group to combat the male loneliness epidemic. Monthly meets at bars to play board games and chill. I went once to try to do my part. The guys there were beyond hopeless, bitter at the world, and incredibly self-conscious about everything. Trying to spark conversations outside of work or manosphere topics was like trying to bleed a rock. Needless to say, the group disbanded after a couple of months. That's too bad. Here's the OP saying, that's got to be so hard. I admire the fact that they're willing to step out of their comfort zone, but half the battle is addressing your own internal attitudes and belief system. Like, if you automatically assume what you're doing is pointless, then you're not changing or challenging anything about your thoughts. Then you're just physically going through the motions and not making any real change. And I do not believe that they want to be friends or really know and understand what friendship is outside of, things like going to sports events or concerts, things where you don't have to actually be that vulnerable, where you can just go and exist and have fun and drink. That's not friendship. And then on top of that, as women pull back and women are not being that emotional labor for them, they're really struggling. They are failing and flailing, but they're going to have to figure out how they're going to get past that. Women have our own issues to deal with. All right, y'all. I just wanted to show you that. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Do you ever see them? I don't see them discussing their issues outside of when women are talking about our issues. Let me know what you think. I'm outside again, so you will hear the bird coworkers. They are very boisterous today. It must be a very important meeting. I was tagged in this post. It's in the Boomer Humor subreddit. So look at the name of this person posting this. Hard hubby for BBW. So this is the remote that this person is posting, and this is called the wife remote. This remote is honestly egregious. This is not funny to me, but it goes along with the wife appliance. This would be the perfect remote for a wife appliance. Some woman that you don't really see as a woman, but just a caretaker for your nanny, bang maid, the cooker, the cleaner, the whole thing. That's what this takes care of. BJ, relations, getting peaches, hand job, massage, doggy style, feed me, get naked, swallow, say yes, bring beer, clean, leave, PMS off, stop nagging, and boobs. I guess for some people this is funny, but this isn't funny to me. And this does go along with the crude humor, the grape humor of the 80s. Remember Revenge of the Nerds and Porky's and Weird Science and stuff. It goes perfectly with that demographic that put those movies out, that, just made fun of women just simply being here, just simply to open up their legs, make them a sandwich, and shut up and be quiet. Just shut up and sit over there until I call you for the next time. Nothing about this is funny to me, but I do want to know what you think about it. Let's go ahead and jump into the comments though. JD Creeper says, dude, just buy an X doll at this point. And then the OP, and remember his name is Hard Hubby for BBW, says, X dolls can't make me fried hot dogs and heart attack sandwiches for dinner. And then, sorry to interrupt, but saying the technology is almost there, just wait a little longer. AR Love says corn dogs. So really all a woman is to this person, and I know he's joking, but there is a lot of truth wrapped up in their jokes, that a woman is simply here to spread it open and then go make a sandwich. Oriole Light says, wasn't this literally from the Stepford Wives movie? Yeah, gross. And then the OP says, it's only gross if you have something called empathy, which we all know is for liberals. So Catheter Hero says, when I see memes like this is how I imagine the people who find it funny, how they look like. And then he shares an image. I'm going to come back to the image in just a moment. Crack Badger says, we'll share it on their Facebook with the title, yes. It's lit fam says, point of view, you're in a Facebook comment section and about to read the shtiest take based on conspiracy theories. Helen from HR says, jump scare. So this is who he imagines would find that remote control funny. And y'all do know it has to be a couple patriarchy patties in there. There are some women who would laugh at this. I'm not one of them. I went into his post just to see some of his comments, to see if he had any other posts. And I see who he is. This is literally who he is. He needs some peaches. He likes the peaches. Look at what he commented on. I shaved and who wants a snack? 42 and single, but the name is Harry P Word. Freshly shaved and ready to be ate. This is what he's commenting on. So that's what's on his mind. So the remote, it makes sense. All right, y'all, let me know what you think about this one. How do you feel about a wife remote? Did you find this funny? Am I just being too serious about it? I need to get a funny bone. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and share. Now, finally, I want to talk about this video clip from this man right here. So it was posted in Ask a Black Man, and he captioned it, man gets emotional because he hasn't found the love of his life yet. And this man is like, imagine falling in love and it works out forever. Imagine you come home and she is just there, excited to greet you at the door. The way he was talking, it sounded like he was describing a puppy excited to see his owner come home. That's what it sounds like. But when I first listened to it, I was rolling my eyes like, oh my God, these dudes and making these videos in their car. It already kind of irks me. I will put the video at the end of this video just in case you want to scroll away. When I reshared it, I said, I think these dudes are finally feeling the absence of women. I think they want to date and get married more than many of these women. Now, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, they were talking about how women were coming every 15 minutes like buses. And I do believe that women kind of caught on to the fact that they were not really that into us. Men really are not that into us. They see us as replaceable. And that is how they have talked to us for the past few decades. I mean, I'm 44. I do not remember them actually clamoring for relationships, clamoring to get married and have kids. I see the men wanting to get married and have babies more so than the women. But I do want you to chime in on what are your thoughts on that. But I shared this, and the women under my post, they were definitely talking. Hard Candy says, too many of them kept playing the field because they thought women would be an endless supply. We're around, but that doesn't mean we want to engage with them like we used to. They fumbled one too many times. These are the consequences of their action. And then my homie, Miss Mezakine, says, this was a thirst trap post. I don't believe for a second he's not able to be in a loving relationship. He sounds like he's looking for a golden retriever. They want the girlfriend experience while providing nothing in return. No one's stopping him from finding a good woman. And then this woman at the bottom says, oh, they absolutely do. I've been proposed to four times. And I believe she's talking about the fact that I believe that these men want to be in relationships more than the women. I truly do believe that. But Miss Mezakine, her point is also valid as well. They want the experience. They want someone doting on them. But then again, they get tired of that too. They get irritated with those women as well. Like, you're too clingy. I don't really know what these people want. I'm just being honest. Because one day they want a submissive woman to be quiet and all of that. And then the next, you have this man who actually is acting like he wants some love. I honestly don't know what these people want. Bonita says, he does sound like he's talking about a puppy. I think it's nice to hear a guy expressing desiring a relationship. Bree says, I completely agree. Ashley says, they want companionship perks. Literary Lady says, well, they need to build themselves up to make themselves worthy enough to marry. Have a personality and good character. Queen of the Boring says, bet you he's cheating on whatever girlfriend he does get. Gen Z says, whenever I hear a man that is not a proven gentleman say, the love of my life, all I hear is Adams, the flesh of my flesh. Be for real, selling Eve out. Even God made the mistake of alleviating the male loneliness epidemic. Don't repeat that. They've been audacious from day one, literally. Andrew Ruth says, I can agree, but I doubt it's because they want to love, though. Based on their behavior, it's because they badly want the perks that women bring. The dude in that video likely fumbled and treated women badly in his past. That could have been the love of his life. Now, the women under my post will be a specific type of woman. In the general population, people were more empathetic. They were more coddling of that man and how he was feeling. But the women under my page, they're going to feel kind of like how I feel, like eye roll, here we go again. All right, let's look at a few of the comments under the main post. It's Lady Kid says, he's probably emotionally abusive as F. Handsome good men are not single, y'all, period. YND Dizzy says, that's a wild assumption. And she says, it's a joke. Gentleman Ron says, he clearly is doing this for attention and responses. Social media is a very odd place. Okay, so I guess they're not coddling him too much. I did see a comment where a man was like, see, this is the reason why men don't open up. Y'all are the reason why men won't open up. And so I did see that. I didn't take a screenshot of that, but I do want to know what you think. Like I said, I'm putting his comments at the end because I don't want people to click away and swipe away too soon. But let me know what you think.
She geeked about you calling her. You know what I'm saying? You go around your woman, and as soon as you walk through the door, she all over you, jumping into your arms. Imagine falling in love and that shit work out, like, for the rest of your life. Like, you have a woman that adores you. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything about you, she, like, is all cheesy about. You know what I'm saying? Like her soul is full when it comes to you and your name. You know what I'm saying? I would love that. I know that feeling is just amazing. To know that you call your woman and she geeked about you calling her. You know what I'm saying? You go around your woman, and as soon as you walk through the door, she all over you, jumping into your arms, telling you about her day. Everything is baby this, baby that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that gotta be like the best feeling ever. You know what I mean? I hope everybody in this world gets to feel that. You know what I'm saying? Just think about it, like literally the best feeling. Like, my heart is so full thinking about that.